Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which is in paradise and it's in hell, and it's up and it's down, and it's hot and it's cold. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet, like summer. It's summer right now. It's a summer day. What's
Hi.
the weather like over there, Wa?
Echo, what's the weather?
The current weather is 72 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has thunderstorms, with a high of 74 degrees and a low of 56 degrees.
So it's hot thunderstorms?
Yeah, it's going to be humid.
Oh, Jesus. Sounds like you're in the South almost. But I know you're
Yeah.
not.
There's mosquitoes and I live by a river, so,
Have you been bitten?
Not yet because the wind has been blowing, but I do spray myself. I bought a bike yesterday, so
What?
I got to go pick it up. But
We've been talking for like an hour. How come you didn't tell me that you bought a bike?
I forgot. You didn't ask me what I did yesterday. I forgot.
Yes, I absolutely did.
Oh, okay. Well, then I forgot to say.
Mm.
I also got a nose ring. That's also what I did yesterday too. Bought a bike and got a nose ring. I also got a third.
I didn't
ear
notice the nose ring
piercing
the entire time.
up
That's so
here.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
a little
Is it in?
jack-o'-lantern.
Is it in right now? I see only two.
Yeah. You see too. The last one is the new one I got. So anyways, I did that. And then so now I have a bike. So when I bike, I won't get bitten by mosquitoes because the wind will be blowing. Or like I'll be moving fast. So it's great.
We had talked and you had just gotten a city bike, honey, and you had just like got on that bike like 2 days ago. And since then, you obviously fell in love because
I have
we had
wanted a
that
bike since the
conversation.
very beginning. I wanted a bike since the beginning of my my workout journey because I was like, oh, walking is cool, but I'm not going to walk 5 hours to see what's at the end of this trail. I need a bike to get there to see how far this goes. And so or I could have just like parked my car for it. No, I'm gonna do that. So, anyways, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I rode that city bike, which was death defying. It was terrible. It was a terrible experience, but it was scary, but it also took me a
Fun.
long way so I can see where I was.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. So now I've got a fully manual bike.
Oh, manual.
Haven't ridden it yet. But yeah, so now I'm just gonna just be bring as I ride around. So
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. Yeah, I only recently had ridden my first electric bike, I guess is what the kids are calling them. And I also was very scared and I fell off of it. And I also got a little taste and now I'm like obsessed with it though. It's so much fun. I want one as well. Like I want to be able to zip zap zop all over the town and like, park when I want and sometimes work out, but also just sometimes cruise. Um, but you know what? Here, just so you know, we're talking about 90 Day Fiance, Love in Paradise, season 4, episode 10. And none of this has to do with bikes, except that probably Annie has one. I feel like Annie has one on Malta, but maybe not. Emilion looks like he, needs a bike, honey. Just spend some more time outside. Okay, let's start with Kyle and Annie. So
yeah.
Kyle does one of the grossest things. He does a bunch of gross things, which makes me feel like he is so fake because it is so horrifying to witness him eat and do what I'm about to say. And I feel like he has to be in on the joke. But he picks up socks off the ground that he's already worn and he smells them. And then he smells them again. And he says, they are okay smelling. They smell like dirt. I've only worn these a couple days. Socks.
You know that
Socks.
I don't understand people's desire to like live as though they're in the time before we understood health and its relationship to cleanliness. It's like people feel like, oh, well, back in the day they survived. And I'm like, yeah, but they survived with lice and fungus. Like these people were not living healthy lives in whatever decade you believe that your behavior is acceptable. You are sweating profusely. And I'm not saying you can't wear the same socks, but go on ahead and give them a little scrub a dub dub if you are a nomad who lives out of one backpack. Give them a little scrub in the sink
Tub,
once you're
scrub in the
done with
tub.
them, and then just like let them hang and put them back on again. I get you wanting to have a less of a carbon footprint, but smelling them as though like I you would be surprised, Chris, is how many people probably do that. I've listened to a boy podcast where the guy's like, I don't take off and wear a different sock every day like
Why?
that. I don't know. I don't know people's cultures or lifestyles. I don't understand them. Like it's the same thing with the people who are like, I don't wash my kids every day because they have dry skin. I live in a dry area, so like they don't take a bath, and it's just it's all the same to me. It's all this like idea that, well, the Neanderthals didn't bathe as much, and I'm like, yeah, but you had different particles on the skin to help with that. And like it is a well-known fact that the Native Americans ran from the settlers once they got off those boats, and they were like, I'm sorry, y'all need to bathe consistently every day. You know what I mean? It's a well-known fact, but there are still people who are like, my ancestors didn't bathe.
I cannot tell you. I don't understand the concept of. I felt like we just like as humans, we know that if we wear underwear, we change them every day. You know, like twice a day if you want to. I sleep without underwear. But if you know, as women, if we work out, I mean, don't we all wear a sports bra once? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we sweat in it. Socks are something that are disgusting. They're on people's feet. You know, I hate feet. You're right. It's filled with sweat. And that's where the dirt mostly is on the ground. And he's in like a different country. When he said this, and it was like I've worn this a couple days, I almost turned off. Well, I guess I wasn't on watching TV. I was watching on a laptop. I almost shut my laptop, threw it across the room, and be like, well, you're a pig. I can't talk about you. I don't have to tell you. Like I can't bathe with pigs. And but that's what I'm doing right now. Talking about him feels like I'm bathing with pigs. He is a pig. Um, but here we are. He is leaving and going back to London now, and he's meeting up with Annie one last time. And he wants to be cordial, just in a cordial way. And this is, of course, hot on the fact that they had the worst romantic like courtship I've ever seen in my entire life. And she, on top of watching him eat and hearing what he does for a living and seeing what he wears, decides to let him come inside her raw. And then the next day asked for him to pick up an ovulation test when she met him to make a baby. And now she's like going to stand firm that he's a horrible man. And she, feels sad and disappointed, but also relieved that she found out about him when it's like, you're actually crazy.
Yeah.
Annie, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're fucking crazy. And I don't know what to tell you.
She's crazy in a non-seasoned woman way. This sounds like something that a 20-year-old would do. Someone in their 20s like Sophie. They would do this because they think that, there's probably still a through line with women where they think like, oh, if I'm just a good enough woman, he will step up and be a good man. Like that's what she thought. Because
Ugh.
even the audacity for her to say that this didn't work because you're not interested in love. She said something crazy like that to him. And I was like, no, this didn't work because you weren't listening to him the entire time he said
that he was
out of
a bananas person. Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, I'm feeling sad and disappointed, but also relieved. Girl. Yeah. Yeah. You should have felt relieved. So she gets to the spot. He's already ordered tea for them. She loves that. And she mentions it. And then she's like, you didn't go through you didn't put enough effort into this whole relationship. I'm like, he did the most he could, based on what he has said to you. I don't know, maybe the verbiage he used in the chat rooms is a little bit more flowery and made her think that he was a little bit more on it. But like as soon as she got there and he came to dinner in that outfit, she should have understood one of two things. Either he truly just didn't know, which is a problem, or he just didn't give a fuck, which is a problem. So either way it goes, you knew that there was a problem.
He showed up to that dinner wearing those shorts, and then he ate in front of her. And then she saw him the next day. I mean, that's 2 strikes against her. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that, absolutely. I have my path and you have your issues, is what he says. He then tries to blame their relationship imploding on the fact that she has an ex and maybe, like hung out with him or whatever, as well as the fact that he wants horribly bad and doesn't understand why he can't find a woman who is enchanted by his lifestyle and his profession and is 100% either okay, well, A, okay with it, if not B, turned on by it.
Yeah. He is I- they're both wrong. So they're talking and he's just like, "Well, tell me more about your ex. I need to know." And she's like, "Well, you don't need to know. Like it's not necessary to talk about it. It's like we're over now." And he's like, "Well, no, I just feel like you never were over your ex and you pulled me into this and you knew you weren't ready." Like then he's like flips it on her as just now it has everything to do with the ex. But I was like, I don't understand this like communication. I guess what it is that she wasn't communication, that she was still bumping and grinding with the ex, but then had the audacity to be mad at him because he's giving sperm all over the world. So to him, he's like, these giving sperm isn't emotional, and you had an emotional situation with your ex right before I got here, so you were never really ready for me, blah blase blase. And then he's like, so if you are pregnant, it's most likely his, and don't try to put a baby on me. And I was like, what does it matter? You don't take care of any of the babies anyway.
Yeah.
So like, why does it matter whose baby it is and if the baby's trying to be put on you? Like you're some prize. Like there's some like registry where she can then put that her baby daddy is Kyle. And that somehow that's going to give her street cred, or I don't know, something that she wants outside of just like having this next baby. And which is crazy. And so she gets upset at him, but instead of
Yes.
just like and then she leaves, which is weird too. I was like, why is this such a big reaction? I don't understand what's happening enough. Why are you both saying something crazy? So I don't know. What was your interpretation?
Well, before she leaves, she says my favorite line ever, and I have pictures of it. She goes, "Why? Do you think I need the Peter Pan who doesn't know how to live a normal life?" Which is like her reaction to him saying that he tried to put the baby on me. And
Yeah.
it's like, girl, if you think that if you see with your own 2 eyes that he is a Peter Pan and you've been knowing him longer than us, I mean, honey, you were up and down his Facebook social media channels. You've been knowing who he is. Like, I'm sure you watched the Dr. Phil thing before we did. You know who he is.
Hmm.
Why did you bring him over? Like, who
Yeah.
are you,
Why are
Wendy?
you
You know what
trying
I'm
to shame
saying?
him? Why are you trying to
Yeah.
shame him now?
Yeah. All right. I mean, seriously. So she then, of course, leaves, but I love that Peter Pan moment. And then he gets into like a van, like an Uber van. And I said, like a kid after basketball practice, because the way that he opens and like closes his mom's van, of course, he's like obsessed with like loose fitting athletic shorts.
Hmm.
I mean, just he's whatever.
For
And
that
he
for that
talks about
dick
the
to
silver line.
swing. That's why he
Yeah.
wants to loose fitting.
He says that there's a silver lining in all this, though. But because this went so shittily, now he got to go out early and he gets to go fuck some girl. I mean,
Hmm.
make a baby for her.
Hmm. I mean, this would all make more sense if he was actually making money on the low. So what I hope is that he's actually making money and he couldn't say it on TV because that would indeed make him a prostitute.
You know what? You're very smart. Do you know that?
Oh, thank you.
For some reason, I just thought about that too. I mean, you saying that was the first thought. You're right, absolutely right. Okay, then we get her in front of her famous tiled bath kitchen, tiled kitchen, and she brings back her son, who we met, who are maybe met once or barely met once. Who, thankfully, I don't know if the son has been away with the dad, honey, or just was off this island the entire time, because she was like, "I'm so happy I never introduced Kyle to Emilion." Emilion is very blonde. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? A very white, very blonde kid. Like.
What's a bath kitchen? Is that like whatever she has? Is that a
I didn't mean to say bath. I meant to
Oh,
say
okay,
kitchen.
okay, okay, okay. I was like, this
But the
that sounds
tile looks like it could be either a bathroom or a kitchen.
I love that it's like, well, it does repeat itself, but the whole plan of it is that it's unplanned, you know? I like that. Not that I would do it, but I think it's interesting.
Well, now that you say it's unplanned, if you look where the star is, everything around the star every time you see it has the same ones. So it actually is planned. Does that make
Well, no, I
sense?
know. It
Okay.
is planned, but it's supposed to look like it's unplanned.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I'm
supposed to
saying.
look like a little
Yeah.
bohemian or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, God, so he's just gonna go on to the next is what he's doing, and I wish we had like another reason why I feel like it could be fake. This whole storyline is like, why didn't we get to meet her ex?
Um,
They didn't give us enough
okay.
of their story. Yeah, like we should have met him. We should have had her and him and be like, because I think it would have been great for us to be like, holy shit, Annie could be with this normal guy, and for some reason Annie isn't with this normal guy. Or we
Mhm,
could see, or conversely, the guy's crazy, and we're like, Annie has a fucking type.
mhm, mhm.
Annie,
It's terrible.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, wouldn't that have been a great scene?
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I w-
It would have added more. It just feels like what we got was like 3 to 4 days of them
yes.
fighting.
And it felt fake because it just felt like they knew that he was a Bananarama character and that she was the somewhat straight person, and that like they were just going to like have us be befuddled. That's not a word, but they would have us be
Befuddled? Kerfuffles? Befuddled. Befuddled and kerfuffled? Okay,
befuddled.
great.
Yes, they would have us be befuddled that they would even be attracted to each other. And the fact that they knew that they were gonna, like, make us think that they had sex, it would blow our minds, which it did, you know? And they
Mhm,
knew that her saying that the dick was big would make us really upset, and it
mhm,
did,
mhm,
and check
mhm.
and check. So, we've been gotten, but we could have been gotten more, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. You're not wrong.
I
You ain't
know.
wrong. You ain't
And either
wrong.
is his hair, either is his haircut, honey. It's not wrong.
Uh,
Okay. Oh,
no, we're just gonna move us on.
yeah.
Alex and Adriano. Oh God. You know,
You love them, it's your favorite.
it's
You
my
gotta be
not
happy.
favorite, and every time I look at her and like I this is what every time you say someone is so beautiful and
You get upset.
like I don't agree with you. Like to the point where I can't watch her without looking at her and be like, well, Chris says she's beautiful. So like she's beautiful, right? Is that to me, she's alright. You know what I mean? Like Normani is beautiful. Like she cool. You know what I mean? Like there are Somali women right now at my job that are more beautiful than this woman. Like I just am like, what you know, not to say that you're wrong, but I just find it so odd that every time you're like, "La, la, la," like Amanda of Amanda and Rothman, I'm just like, I don't see it. I just see a regular ass degular with no non noteworthy features. But
Mm,
anyways, we got this bitch on a boat, and she's got a glass of rosé, and she's seemingly mad that she's had to get here in this relationship. Like she really, really, really wanted it to work, and she's so mad that it didn't work. And then Adriano is like, yeah, he's like, I didn't think that she would get so upset about saying that about her cousin. Yes, it's inappropriate. I was just trying to make her mad. I didn't think she'd come back to me and want to have a serious conversation about it. And like, that's exactly what I thought. It was like, it was not real. It was fake, but it was disturbing to her enough because the idea of wanting to have a threesome was already so bad that for him to say that just like was the right thing honestly he needed to say in order for her to wake up.
mhm. I I think that it was a blatant disrespect. Like, it's blatantly disrespectful to look at a woman and then be like,
Mhm.
"Hey, you and your
Mhm.
sister."
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
obviously that woman's not gonna be into that, and you are demeaning that person by being like, you are your thoughts, your wants, how you view yourself means so little to me that I'm willing to insult you for the tiny percent for some
Mhm.
reason that you might say yes, which
Mhm.
I know you won't intrinsically, but I'm still going to insult you and offend you, because that's how little I think of you and care about how you feel about yourself, and how like and the respect I have for you as a person. I just everything is what he did was disgusting. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
disgusting.
it does
And,
come down to respect. It does. You're right.
yeah, it's just like, it's like anything, like, I'm trying to say, like, if you went to your friend, be like,
No,
yeah,
I
you
get
would I
you.
just there's so many yeah, it's just so I think that in that moment, I felt so bad for her because I think that she knew how fucked up it was, and she knew that she can't on camera co-sign it. And not that she would want to, but even if you were just gonna like play it off as a joke, like on camera, like if it happens or whatever, if you have to deal with it, it's just a fucked up thing that like you can't do, like it's just, and Tiffany was there and everything. And
It didn't happen on camera.
I
She told
know,
us about oh, okay,
I
sorry.
know, you're right. But I wonder, you know what? It's interesting. I wonder if it somehow did, but they just didn't have good footage of it because
Mm.
I don't know. There was that. You're right. You're right. And I know what you're saying. It didn't happen, but they brought it up. And Tiffany either was around at one point and then wasn't around. I don't know what production heard or whatever, but they did bring it up. And yeah, I feel bad for her. She cries over it. She's like, she breaks up. And then he says a couple of interesting things. So obviously we know that they had broken up twice before. We now realize that those twice before they had broken up was on him. He had done it. He had broken up. And, that was interesting because I was like, why did you break up with her if she doesn't want to have threesomes? What did you be like? You want to have threesome fun? I break up with you. And then somehow she would text you or you would text her and be like, okay, I guess we'll try again. Is that what it was? Like, but he broke, yeah, right?
I feel like that must have been it. I think that, or that she was like, we can work through it. And I don't know, because so much about their relationship is mysterious because there's more than just a threesome. It's the moving to Australia too. We forget
barely
that.
talk about it. Well, yeah.
She's not going to come to and just live in Italy in this beautiful space. This is him on vacation kind of too. So he wants to eventually settle in Australia. So who knows what they broke up about prior to. And when they get together, it's just so magical, especially like the amount of orgasms she has, which is like, God bless her.
God bless.
I get it.
God bless her. No,
I
I mean,
get
yeah, I 100% unfortunately fucking get it. I mean, I don't get it enough. I mean, that's the problem. But once she got it, honey, it was very hard to let go. So she obviously is breaking up with him now, and he does admit guilt. He's like, it was me. I'm the one who did it. I have to change. I blame myself is what he does. So that part I was actually happy for. Now, when he said he blamed himself, I was like, but go in deep and tell me exactly how fucked up it was of what you did. And also, I also want him to say, which I guess he has kind of said, as much as it hurts me because I like her so much or I care about her, we're just so different. I don't have such strong Christian values and morals like she does. And I don't know if this has come across, but I really love group sex. I don't know. Is this on? Because he could release a single by the time that he's talked about it so much now. I mean, listen, for the rest of this man's life, if he goes into any fucking bar with one of these 90 Day Fiance people, it's the first one to be like, threesome guy. Adriano's down for a fucking threesome. I think that, like, honestly, he's going to be dripping in pee for the rest of his, not P-E-E, just the word that starts with P.
Oh, okay.
I know, I said it weird because I did it for you, and then I made everyone else feel so uncomfortable.
Vagina?
He's dripping in pagina. He'll be dripping in pagina for the rest of his life, because a lot of people do like threesomes, and a lot of people love them some Adriano, including Alex, who I think is beautiful, not gorgeous, stunning in a model way, but in this very sweet way. Like, Amanda's a fucking bitch, but for some reason, like, Amanda and Alex have very similar features, like smaller features, such symmetrical features, demure features. And I don't think I like big features for sure. Like, I think that many different women are beautiful. I think that like things come together and to create beauty. But I'm not using the word gorgeous for her, but she is beautiful. So then basically after this conversation, she just like walks off the boat. When they get off the boat, he kind of sits in the boat. I'm like, are you getting off the boat, sir? Like, the people have to use this boat, it's not your boat. And then she goes back to her place because they were of course staying together, but she has one night and she doesn't want to stay with him. And so she's there. And then he's like, hey, I have all your stuff here. And she's like, oh, all my stuff? And I was like, that seems weird. Of course, you have your stuff there. Like, when you're traveling, you have one or two bags. So if you have like half of a bag gone, you know it, And she's like, oh, I didn't know. Okay. Will you bring that over? Okay. So that conversation seems incredibly fake.
She's very demanding of him to like come over, bring her stuff, take her to the train, like all this interesting like dynamic that we're seeing now. And he just kind of is just like, okay. So they finally get to the train. And it feels like she had to take a train, plane, and automobile to get to him. So she's taking the train back to whatever major city so she could fly out of.
Yeah.
And so,
I said
that's
Rome.
it.
I don't know if it's Rome. Yeah, because we're on the coast. And
Mhm,
so
mhm.
they got to get back. She has to, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. She's probably flying from Rome. Oh my God. I mean, of all, I really do want to go to Malta too. But they unfortunately didn't show the best of Malta. Like these shots of Alex and Adriano, like on the fucking coast of Italy when he's on the scooter, honey, it feels, I mean, there's like drone shots. I was just like, Jesus, get me there right now. Take me there. Jesus, take the
I
wheel.
did karaoke with a girl who was Maltese, and when she told me she was, I was like, I have never heard of that place. Google, 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 and I was like, bitch, you're from there? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
I wonder how far Malta is from Italy.
You
Like,
can
is it
Google it.
somewhat, I can Google it. Okay. That's what I'll do now. You go to the next.
All right, next couple that we're going to talk to is Luke and Madeline.
Hmm.
So basically, he forgives her. She agrees to sign the prenup, but she also says that she's not going to sign it when it actually comes to having it happen. So the way they kiss on TV is so inappropriate to me. Just doesn't feel like this is a kiss that you should do in front of people. And so it always upsets me. But he promises to come back and not far from the
It's
little
very
island.
close. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's actually like right off Italy. So it's if you go to Italy, you can go to
off of
Malta. Anyway.
Sicily. And so yeah, so that's the end of them.
Wait, I want to say something. It's so funny. This is a lot of fun. Okay, this is not funny at all, but this is what I will say. He at one point in their last day, like, is like, "Oh, Madeleine, go back and take pictures." And he takes pictures like an Instagram boyfriend would, you know. And I thought that that was just so dumb, you know. Like, I did want to eat the yummy fried food. This is where she's wearing those square glasses, and then she has like her hair like as a librarian or whatever. Yeah, she does. She knows in her heart that he is not going to come back right away because she's like, "Oh, you're gonna go?" He's like, "Yes, baby, I have to go, but I'll be back." And she's like, "How long?" And he's like, 1 week, maybe two. Now, this asshole told us that he has no money, no money. And he is going, he cannot stay for some reason there, which is cheaper than America. Okay. But he's going to go back to America and what? Get money and then come back. And for some reason, he's going to get enough money in only 1 or 2 weeks. What?
I do not know. When he said he's going to come
Yes.
back in a week, I was like, how long is that flight? And you're going to do it in 1 week? You're just going to what? Go home, go to the bathroom and repack your bag and then leave again?
What?
Even the stress of getting to LAX is enough to make me not go back to that airport after a week. I would need at least a month in between. It is just like crazy that he said that. And I at this point then don't know. And I'm like, what do you have to do in Los Angeles that requires your physical presence?
Yes.
Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing in this world now post um COVID. I was going to say post 9/11 because that's what we used to say for a long time. And now it's just post COVID. It's like two major events that's happened in my little baby
Yeah.
millennial life that I can't get over.
Yeah.
So I'm like
I
post
can't
the
get over it.
Kuwait war. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Post,
fuck.
yeah.
post post the the fight with Russia arms race between the Cold War, post Cold War
I just
America. You know what I mean? Just like
small thought
so
is
much has happened in our lives. Like, right? We had the Cold War, the Russians were bad.
the Germans.
I know the
You
Russians.
fucking
That's why I said the Russians.
I know.
The Russians were bad. Then we had fucking Reaganomics. Then we had Bill Clinton playing a saxophone. Then then we had Monica Lewinsky, like post the Lewinsky scandal. Then we had fucking Y2K, post Y2K. Like just
I
so much. We're actually in post MTV and it started. I'm just like, anyways, so post COVID, like there is no reason that you need to physically be anywhere now.
what how are you making money and what are you doing? Because you were an engineer and then that got fired from your job, you had no money, and then you sunk all your dumb finances into some sunglasses scheme or other lifestyle shit. And of course you're financing her BUT shop or whatever, which she's not mentioned before. And I never has to go to work, I guess, and never has to check in to anyone. I don't know who's running it. But anyway, like, what are you gonna do for a week in LA to make money? And I mean, like, a sell. My first thought is sell Bitcoin. Like, if he maybe had bought some ones early on or whatever. But like, that makes no sense. Like, he's not taking any meetings. And I agree with you. I just like going back to what you said. I remember viscerally being a young person and being like, when Ronald Reagan, did his 2 terms and obviously wasn't going to be president anymore. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to live in a world where Ronald Reagan isn't president. Like, I remember having that thought, like, what's the world going to be like when Ronald Reagan isn't president? Now, my dad was a very staunch Reagan Republican at the time. And so, of course, I was too. I was 8. And so, like, I just was like, I don't know what's going to happen to this world.
I don't remember Ronald Reagan in office.
Oh, wow.
My first president is Bush Senior.
Oh, that's wild to me.
Yeah, that's wild to me that you remember Ronald Reagan. To me, I'm like, he happened, but like my parents never talked about that man. Let me tell you right now, not one day ever in my life did I ever hear Ronald Reagan as president. I was like, no, Bush. Bush is going to win. His name is easier than Dukakis, which is a stupid name. It's like Dukaki. Anyways, I already told that story.
Oh, Olympia Dukakis is so great, though. So she really does. I mean, what a name Olympia Dukakis had.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Great. What is that? Greek?
Sounds that
Armenian?
way. Sounds like it has to be It has to be Greek.
It's giving me a Mediterranean. It's giving me Mediterranean vibes. Okay. Anyways.
Olympia Dukakis. Sorry, I'll say it one more time. Just everyone who's listening, just say it once. It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what she looks like at all. Anyways,
oh yes, you do. She's an sorry. Here you go, or I'll bring her up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's all a scam. He didn't lose his job. This is what he had to say in order to get on the show, because otherwise nothing makes sense. And the way that he has
She was in Moonstruck.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love her.
I know.
She was also in Sweet Magnolia.
She absolutely was. She's Wheezy or Weezer, whatever we call her. She's
Anyways,
little Wheezy, little Wayne.
She's Greek.
Lil Wayne.
I've decided she's Greek or Armenian. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, I think it's all fake. Every single second of it. And he's like, even if I have to come back and work in your beauty store, I'll learn to do nails. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. I don't care. Moving on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we do have one more of her, the Rubik's Cube in those nails, honey. And she's just like, I mean, click clacking and the click clack, you know. And yeah, she just very much knows that he's going to be gone longer. And so she says whatever she wants to say to get him. And he's the dumbest because he's still going to be paying for that apartment. And he's still going to be helping her do her finance. If I were her, I'd be like, maybe she is playing it right. Like, oh no, baby, you have to come back so fast. And then she's just like, oh, please leave. And the minute that she watches, by the way, this is another funny part. So then she's like, bye, baby, or whatever. And he goes down to take the Uber. She doesn't walk him to the Uber, doesn't gonna go to the airport with him, whatever, just gonna go outside of her balcony and be like, bye, baby. And he gets it. And my thought process was immediately we see her just like take off her shirt, jump in the bed with that guy.
No, when Luki's not here, and I'm like, girl, if you do not speak, go on and speak this English that you learned from reading it. I love that. I know. I couldn't do it in Spanish.
So I know some parts of me, she'd be talking and I'd be like, it looks like that there's a teleprompter with like a sing-along style of English with a ball like you did in Disneyland or whatever. And like, it was just like, look, maid, mornings, you know, and just like, but she also speaks, you know, 2 languages. So having said that, I wish I was her, but at the same time, the way that she speaks English is very interesting, you know, which is slow studied as if she's like memorized every syllable. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Aaliyah and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the cosmetic surgeon.
Did you like this foyer, honey? It was like gold, everything. Dr. Marcello like wants you to feel luxe when you walk into his VIP plastic surgery med spa. Like, did you see that, honey? It looked like, I mean, to me, it looked like a little Persian. But anyway, God bless.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. But
well, it's Aaliyah and Sean walking into plastic surgery.
Yeah. So they go into plastic surgery and the annoying thing was that he is like, why is she making these changes? What if I don't like them? Which is so self-centered and crazy. Like, he really thinks that he bought this person hook, line, and sinker. Like, so what she wants done is she wants to remove the fat from the belly and put it in the butt to make it look like a heart. And then possibly get the forehead shaved down. The doctor is like, no, you can't get that forehead shaved down. That's a little bit bigger than what you recognize that it's going to be. So we can do some filler instead. But really, Sean's like worried not about her going under the knife. And I was like, how unfair is that, Sean? You have had many things happen to your face.
That part.
And has anybody said, what if we don't like the way you look? And you know what I mean? It's just like, it's weird. Sean has some either some kind of kink or some kind of like need to be the boss in some way. And I can't even imagine him as a top, but like, apparently he is, you know?
Yeah, he's like a dom top, and I don't think.
I
Yeah,
don't
and
know that he's a dom top. I don't want to put that on him. Go ahead.
the way that he kept wanting, Douglas was so timid. Douglas was so, shy. I just don't like Aaliyah. Douglas was so didn't give her his opinion. I don't. That just seemed so like, I guess in that kind of way, Dom or Alpha, and that kind of like older gender types or whatever. He is older and so funny. Like he'll say things where you're like, oh buddy, like I don't know if like a trans journey is for you. You seem to be kind of like binary in like how you
Mm-hmm.
want things. Like things are a little black and white to you, and just because you're gay doesn't mean that like it just seems like he is just a little boomer-esque or a little archaic in how he views his loved one. And just because he's a member of the LGBT community doesn't mean that he's down for all of it. Even though I think that he wants to be open or whatever, it just very much seems like he wishes he could be with a hot, young, buff guy,
Mm-hmm.
and who just doesn't talk that much. Like that's what he wants,
Mm-hmm.
But he also, I think, has shared moments with this person, and they finally fuck, and so that part, I guess, is supposed to play into this as well. As like now they're like really lovey-dovey,
The reason why I say I don't want to give him the title of Dom is because
Sure.
that, like, I want to put respect on it in a way that we can't just say that somebody who wants to be in charge is a Dom. Like, there is a give and take within it that Sean is not interested in. Sean, like, when someone is a Dom, it's because the sub gives you that power because you've earned it in some way and you've shown that you're able to do it. As Aaliyah not being a willing participant in this dynamic in which she has given over power to Sean to let him kind of do whatever is the reason why I kind of push back on that. Is like,
Okay.
yeah, it feels like he needs her to be small in order for him to be big, and that is not like yeah, that's not okay.
I agree.
That isn't like a gross power dynamic um that she didn't sign up for. And so it just feels like
I agree. Yeah.
he he is just keeps saying things that he's a narcissist for sure, but he's also insecure. I think that he requires like things around him to look a certain way for him to feel powerful. I don't know. It just plays something crazy to me. Sean is fine. Sean is who Sean is. That's fine. But like I can see it so blatantly on TV, and I'm glad that he's so open with how it is that he needs Aaliyah to shrink in order for that dynamic to work. But it's just so obvious, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I didn't realize how bad bra bone surgery was going to be when they described. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Yeah, I
Mhm,
mean,
mhm.
and because, and then I thought like, oh, how do you add filler? You just add filler to the forehead to make it a little more rounder, I guess, or not have like it be such a shelf, I guess, or how they would fix that. I mean, anyway, I thought that it was interesting, and yes, sad though, because he's like, "I wanna look like Kylie Jenner," which is like what every a generation of people said, and now Kylie Jenner is on her dumb show, like, crying over the fact that people think she had so much plastic surgery, and I'm like, "You guys did,
I
and
did.
you guys lied about it for so long, and you
Oh.
guys are just like, I don't know, God bless." So anyway, it's such a it is a slippery slope, and that is what Sean is worried that Ali is gonna go down because, Sean knows that slope. Sean has been skiing the slope,
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Sean's a
mhm.
skier. So we'll just they leave their part like very up in the air, like we'll see what happens, like because Sean very much is like it kind of gives like, I don't know if I'm gonna like Aaliyah. I'll be honest, like physically now, I don't know if I'm gonna be into Aaliyah if Aaliyah looks. He doesn't want to say this, but it feels like he's trying to say, I don't know if I'm gonna be into Aaliyah if Aaliyah presents more femme, more femme, more femme. Because what Sean also hasn't said, which is I feel like I'm gay. I mean, I feel like I love men. Yes, for some reason I keep talking about the fact that I was married to a woman, but like, what a mistake, Because I'll be
Yeah.
honest, once I got a taste of that
Women,
dick, honey,
blah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he just doesn't feel like a guy that like ever wants to be like near, a vagina. So or any sort of like even not even just a vagina, even like a femme acting person. Like he doesn't seem like he must have gay male friends that are like, femme, but like he whatever, he doesn't seem like he's really down for that. He seems kind of like a guy's guy, gay guy. And I mean, and I mean that in an archaic way too. Like he just seems like he's not like, he's not into the journey of Aaliyah. He's not like, I love this person and her soul, and I can see how this person has always been feminine on the inside, and we'll see how this journey goes for her. But I know that she's happy, and it's obvious that like what she wants to do, everything about it is so questionable. Well, I'll see what happens when that happens, and if I can still be into it. And I also want to know again, who's paying for the surgery?
Mhm. Mhm.
They never talk about it.
Mhm. Oh,
Never talk
Sean.
about
Sean's
I
gonna pay for it.
know, but I know it, but I kinda wish they would.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Well, this is the end of the season. So we who knows where we're gonna see them. They talked about it as though they might be on, season 12 of the 90 Day Fiance.
Yep,
So
yep, y they
we'll
did.
see. Or season 11. Who knows? They're probably filming it now because it's probably not going to come out until next year. Blase, blase. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, if you'd like to see the visuals of what you're listening to, please join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get exclusive content such as a live every first Monday of the month, plus other goodies. So if you are all interested in that, please join us there at patreon.com/DocuSweeties. But if you can't do that, Chris will tell you your free options to support us. Chris?
Yes, also, I just wanna say that, you brought up a good point, which means that Luke and Madeline could be on tow.
Oh, yeah, they could be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they never talk about her going to LA for any reason, which
Yeah,
I don't know
no.
why they haven't talked about that. I mean, she could, and then that would also be another,
I don't think
option.
that he would allow her to come to LA. I think the moment she touched down like a roach, she would scurry off to
Oh,
someone
for
else's
sure.
like, just he would lose her in a crowd in a second.
Oh, for sure. And I also think he wants to be there. I think that he loves like, talking the words that he can say there. And like, he seems like a guy that would love to lose himself in a different identity and culture.
Yeah.
Only too willing to let go of however he was raised, whoever he thinks he is, who doesn't feel like enough to him, that he just is like, I'm someone else completely.
Yeah, it's because in Colombia, he could, like, legitimately wear all that gold and nobody
Yep.
would, like, look at him like, "What the fuck is this kid doing?" You know what I
You're
mean? But in
absolutely right.
LA, no matter what, no matter how like, the amount of gold and jewelry and shit that he puts on his body makes him look like such a poser because it's not in style here for men to just Gucci, like, just, like, be so blatantly whatever, like, unless you're, like, from certain parts of the country or the world where gold and Gucci loafers is the thing, but it's not for him in the way he looks.
True, true. So go ahead and follow us on the social medias. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties on X with the one at the end. We have a Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. We have a YouTube. If you haven't given us 5 stars and a helpful review, I mean, come on, get into it, please. Also, yeah, just thank you so much for listening. We love you guys so much, and we have a lot more coming your way. So have a good one.
All right, we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.